Hey yo guys, this is Jared, aka the Saint of Sins on Xbox Live, bringing you some more MLB thoughts for Tuesday, April 24th, 2012. And playing in the background is Major League Baseball 2K12, featuring the Washington Nationals at the New York Mets on Legend difficulty. Yesterday I went strong in my predictions, going 7-3, though the Rockies and Pirates game would be postponed due to inclement weather. That game is scheduled to be made up on Wednesday as part of a doubleheader. Where I went wrong yesterday was picking the Mets over the Giants in Game 2 of their doubleheader, picking Minnesota over Boston, and picking Kansas City over Toronto. We've got a lot to get through on this edition, so let's jump right into the predictions. We'll begin out in PNC Park as the Rockies and the Pirates send up Jamie Moyer and Kevin Correa. I'll be sticking with my pick from yesterday and going with Pittsburgh for the win in this matchup. The Royals travel up to Cleveland, sending up Jonathan Sanchez to face off against Derek Lowe. Sanchez's last outing against Cleveland has been the only black guy on his stat line thus far into the season, as he surrendered 5 runs on 6 hits with 4 walks in 2 2/3 innings pitched. Despite this, I'll be banking on him for redemption, saddling up with a Kansas City Royals victory. The Mariners travel up to Detroit, sending up Jason Vargas to face off against Max Scherzer. I'll be siding with the better team in this exchange, going with Detroit. The Blue Jays will send up Henderson Alvarez as they travel out to Baltimore, facing off against Tommy Hunter. In just his 2 previous starts, Hunter has surrendered 13 runs on 15 hits, 6 of which were home runs. These 2 previous starts were against the White Sox and the Blue Jays, 2 teams who offensively have been doing very well thus far into the season. I think Hunter's woes will continue here and will be siding with Toronto in this exchange. Irvin Santana will match up against David Price as the Angels travel into Tampa Bay. So far, Santana has been a huge disappointment, surrendering at least 4 runs in his last 3 outings. And to compound these issues even further, he's only received 3 runs in support. So with this in mind, I'll be rolling with the Rays for the victory. The Marlins travel up to Citi Field, sending up Josh Johnson to face off against Johan Santana. For the 6'7" right-hander, this has been the worst April he's ever posted up in his entire career. Despite coming off a quality start against the Cubs in his last outing, I believe he'll run into some issues here in which he will not get any kind of run support. So I'll be taking the Mets in Game 1 of this series. The Giants travel up to Cincinnati, sending up Matt Cain to face off against Matt Latos. Simply put, I like Cain for this matchup, so give me the Giants. The Yankees will send up Hiroki Kuroda to face off against the Rangers' Yu Darvish, and so far I do believe Darvish has been settling into a nice groove and will continue that trend here, notching up a Rangers victory. The Cardinals and Cubs will set up a matchup of Adam Wainwright versus Jeff Samardzija. Wainwright so far into his season hasn't looked the same, and though the Cubs lineup is hitting .313 and slugging .518 off of him career-wise, I'm still going to be rolling with the Cardinals here simply because Samardzija's numbers fare no better against the Cardinals. The Red Sox and Twins will feature a pitching matchup of Josh Beckett and Nick Blackburn, and though Boston's pitching has been the main culprit for their losses, I still like this matchup in favor of the Red Sox, as Blackburn is coming off a bullpen session he threw on Sunday after having issues with his shoulder. The Astros' Bud Norris will take to the mound to face off against the Brewers' Randy Wolf, though Wolf looks very unreliable right now, surrendering at least 7 hits in his past 3 outings. I'll still be siding with the Brewers in this one, as Bud Norris' numbers in Miller Park leave something to be desired. The Phillies will send up Vance Worley to face off against Diamondbacks' Josh Collmenter. Simply put, I'm just not impressed with Collmenter's abilities, as right now he sits on a 10.22 ERA. I'll be siding with the Phillies in this exchange, who will likely get 5 runs on the board just off of Collmenter's poor performance. The Athletics will send up Tommy Milone to host Gavin Floyd and the White Sox. And though the White Sox look really good right now, I kind of flip back and forth on this one, as Malone's performance has looked very impressive thus far into the season, but I think the deciding factor for me is Floyd's numbers against Oakland have not looked very impressive at all. So I'll be taking the Athletics to split this series at 1 apiece. The Nationals will begin their West Coast road trip, stopping off at San Diego, sending up Gio Gonzalez to face off against Clayton Richard. The 1-2 punch of Strasburg and Gonzalez has been very effective, and Gonzalez has looked absolutely phenomenal despite a rocky start in Chicago. With 14 shutout innings under his belt, I'll be siding with Gonzalez and the Nationals to take Game 1 of this series. And finally, in Los Angeles, the Braves send up Mike Minor to face off against the Dodgers' Aaron Harang. This one I don't expect to be pretty at all, as Harang has given up 31 runs on 59 hits throughout his career against the Braves lineup. Minor should expect plenty of run support, which should give him enough breathing room to make mistakes against this Dodgers lineup. And with that, I'll be taking the Braves to split this series at 1 apiece. Again, you can always check to see what my picks are in the description box below. But once more, here are my selections for the day. The Pirates, the Royals, the Tigers, the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Mets, the Giants, the Rangers, the Cardinals, the Red Sox, the Brewers, the Phillies, the Athletics, the Nationals, and the Braves. And now a quick look at some interesting notes on today's American League hitters. We'll begin with some of the shocking downers on the season, beginning out in Los Angeles with our Pujols, who in 65 at-bats into the month of April is still homerless. Not only this, but he's also without an RBI in his previous 28 at-bats. Though this is problematic for the 32-year-old first baseman, I'm not willing to sign off on the idea that he's done, because last season he went homerless in 102 at-bats, stretching from April 24th until May 23rd. During that stretch, he hit only 8 RBIs. There's still plenty of baseball to be played, and plenty of time for him to recover. Last season, June seemed to be his rebound month, collecting 20 hits and 63 at-bats with 8 home runs and 14 RBIs. For now, I'll just simply chalk up this as a slow start for him. Also suffering from a slow start is Jose Batista, currently batting .214 on the season with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. He's currently slugging only .393 and went on a stretch of 30 at-bats with no RBIs. Since their last game of hosting the Orioles, Batista has turned around, collecting 5 hits in his last 22 at-bats, hitting .227, and has gone on to collect 6 more walks. He's also hit 2 more home runs and driven in 7 more RBIs. During this stretch, the Blue Jays have won 5 of their last 7 games and have scored 35 runs. Now on to the good, beginning with Adam Dunn of the White Sox, who thus far into the season is batting .250 and is slugging .550 with 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. At the current pace he's working, he's likely going to surpass his home run total from last season by mid-June. In his first season with the White Sox in 122 games, Dunn would only scrap together 66 hits with 16 doubles and 11 home runs with 42 RBIs. So far, Dunn has proven that he's not done with his career just yet and only needed time to adjust to the American League pitching. It also helps now that he's getting protection from Paul Konerko hitting in the 4-hole behind him. And finally, in Minnesota, Josh Willingham has started off the season extremely strong, currently batting .311 with 5 home runs and 12 RBIs. Willingham has started the season with a 15-game hitting streak, which was currently snapped in the final game of the Tampa Bay series. Willingham especially shined during the first home series against the Angels, hitting a home run in every game during that series. Willingham has proven to be a very good replacement for Jason Kubel, who currently is hitting .294 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in Arizona, and Michael Kadire, who's hitting .345 with 2 home runs and 11 RBIs in Colorado. The shame of it all is, despite his performance, the Twins sit at 5-12. They rank 19th overall in runs scored with 63, but have the 10th best batting average of .256. What's absolutely crippled them has been their pitching, which ranks 29th in ERA, 30th in quality starts, 22nd in WHIP, and 29th in batting average against. This performance by their pitching has currently saddled them at 26th in ESPN's power rankings. Speaking of which, ESPN currently has their top 5 listed as the 13-3 Rangers, the 10-6 Tigers, the 9-6 Yankees, the 11-5 Cardinals, and the 12-4 Dodgers. Narrowly missing the top 5 are the 12-4 Nationals and the 10-6 Braves. Contrasting this, John Kruk's top 5 reads as the Rangers, the Nationals, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, and the Tigers. Personally, I'm more inclined to agree with Kruk's listings, as the Nationals currently sit with the best ERA in all of baseball of .234, the second best WHIP of .105, and the best batting average against of .202. Their biggest detriment to overcome so far has been their batting, which currently sits at 23rd in runs, 21st in batting average, 14th in on-base percentage, and 23rd in slugging percentage. In comparison, I would probably place the Cardinals as the second best team, as they are currently steady in batting and pitching, ranked 4th overall in runs, batting average, and slugging percentage, 3rd overall in on-base percentage, ERA, 5th overall in batting average against, 2nd in quality starts, and 1st in WHIP. For my top 5, the list would look more like the Rangers, the Cardinals, the Nationals, the Dodgers, and rounding out the top 5 would be the Tigers. For me, what hurt the Dodgers was losing that series against Milwaukee, and what ultimately hurt the Tigers was dropping that series against the White Sox. The big test for the Nationals will come this Friday when they roll into Los Angeles to face off against the Dodgers. This will be a chance for them to see whether or not their pitching can hold down a top offense in the league, and they'll certainly have their work cut out for them, as the three probable matchups will feature Ross Detweiler versus Clayton Kershaw, Steven Strasburg versus Chad Billingsley, and Gio Gonzalez versus Chris Capuano. This will be the series I most look forward to this weekend. That's going to do it for this edition of MLB Thoughts. I will see you guys later. Peace.